Today's tube is full to bursting.
We can't physically cope with the amount of people that we carry.
Madam, come to me!
That's it, come on, home sweet home.
And the underground staff are flat out,
Go home!
dealing with us.
A 10-pint lager day.
I just seen the person squatting and like...
For the 20,000 people who keep the tube running,
International rescue.
every day brings new challenges.
We are a mobile Swiss Army knife.
Excuse me, sir. Ticket inspector. Yeah, but it's not a free service on the underground, is it?
That could bring the tube to a halt.
Chaos. Chaos, chaos.
Everything running smoothly has now gone the opposite route. See, just like that.
Until I get the shout, I'm going to stand here and just look pretty in front of my public.
Just go!
Chaotic as always.
So this year, it's all change on the world's oldest underground.
This could be the future. This could be the revolution. Join the revolution, everybody.
But for the tube's long-suffering workers, it's more than a job.
It feels like home, just like family. Sometimes we love each other, sometimes we don't.
This way out. This way. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm a parent, and they're my children.
Mate, mate!
This is their story.
We cope, because that's what we do. We cope.
This time on the tube, the secret army battling to keep the underground alive.
Piccadilly line is running on a 1973 stock train. That's how old it is.
How the tube's staff deal with the daily challenge of the rush hour.
It's the same number of people who was making us walk all the way round. Pointless.
When one small delay can send a whole line into meltdown.
I don't know how it can be allowed. If we were animals, there'd be a law against it.
Every working day, London is on the move. Millions of people commuting to work, study, or just out and about to have fun.
Right, if you can move down the back, thank you. Move down.
Wow! Huge amount of people suddenly, and the platform is just not big enough to cope with it.
The tube carries more passengers than ever before, but most of these during 2 short periods of the day when the traffic hits critical levels.
Base 2, Radio 5, too crowded.
You can't get on 1 minute for the next train.
Today, staff on the underground have to battle around the clock just to keep Londoners moving
Straight down.
and the network on track.
This way down, please.
But there's more to running the oldest underground in the world than meets the eye.
All lines down and left, please. Thank you.
The Piccadilly is one of the oldest lines on the network, and it's all run from behind closed doors, here at Earl's Court.
Yeah, receiving you 234. Can you state your location and message for me, please, over?
It's 7:20 in the evening, and the line is running at full capacity.
No problem. I'll get some staff down to help him out. Thanks for that, driver. Controller out.
The Piccadilly, with its 53 stations, runs from Heathrow Airport through the West End out to North London. If the line goes down, it can affect the whole network.
There's a guy, he looks like he's been sick on the floor and maybe over himself, so you might need some staff to go down and help him. You don't know, they could be drunk, maybe just not well. Imagine if he got sick on our train. We'd have to have it all cleaned and everything.
Charlotte has spent her entire career underground, first as a station assistant, then as a driver. For the past 3 years, she's been responsible for one of London's busiest tube lines.
I am in charge, theoretically, of the whole of the Piccadilly line. So we deal with everything that happens, from signal failures, drivers not being in position, so we have a train that's not moving, to passenger emergency alarms, so we get people fainting on trains or being taken ill. All those calls come through to us, and we'll deal with that.
To reduce a build-up of passengers, the PIC tries to deliver a train every 2 minutes during the rush hour.
OK. He's just shut his doors literally now as we're speaking. There he goes, on the move. All right, cheers.
340.
Holborn, they're like 5 people deep queuing to get on one train. When that train comes in and that train is packed, then people ain't never getting on a train. There might be 1 or 2 getting on every single train that comes in.
The Piccadilly line has minor delays due to a shortage of trains. Message ends, out.
Everyone's not really happy at the moment with the way things are running, but we're doing our best, and that's all we can do.
Not a job for everybody. I prefer working on my own. I'm not sitting at a desk. Well, I am sitting at a desk, but it's not in an office where I've just got one view out of the window. My view is always changing.
Deep below the streets of London, Keith Kenmar has been a tube driver for 19 years. He always knew he'd work underground.
It does help being slightly insane to do this job. From Whitehaven, traditionally a mining town, go down the pits, go down the tube. It's a big black hole. What's the difference?
During the rush hour, up to 1,000 people can squeeze onto just one of Keith's trains. If he's to keep the network running, Keith can't be stopped at a station for longer than 60 seconds.
Miserable faces. Nobody smiling, which, let's face it, is understandable when you're going to get packed in like sardines on one of these. You basically can't see any piece of the platform. You've got to watch them basically like hawks. Sure nobody gets trapped in the doors, nobody falls through the train on the platform. When boarding the train, use all available doors, move right down inside the car. Train is ready to depart, stand clear.
In the City of London, Bank and Monument stations form one of the busiest interchanges on the network. 2 million passengers travel through here every week.
Customers are advised, please allow all passengers off the train before boarding.
Naeem is new to the Underground, and it's his job as customer service assistant to hurry commuters through before the next packed train full of passengers arrives.
Bank at its peak is quite tough. When you have a lot of passengers, we actually got to make sure that the platforms don't get really busy, because if they do, they'll overflow onto the track, and that's the worst scenario.
Please remain behind the yellow line. This is for your own safety.
Get a lot of stick. When I pull out my iPad, they're like, oh, look, he's got a new guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's all part of a learning curve. How long will it take before I know everything? Maybe 20, 30 years. Will I ever get there? Who knows?
Yes, state your message.
One day, Naeem hopes he might make it to the heart of the operation, the station's control room.
Yeah, receive, Lee. Thanks very much.
Paul and Ola are the eyes and ears of Bank Station, constantly scanning scores of monitors covering 10 platforms and miles of corridors.
At the present moment, it's going quite well.
It's their job to ensure the build-up of passengers never reaches dangerous levels.
Hello, Bank Station. What train is it? The what to do in city? There's a train track. Yeah.
It's 5:15, and a train has failed to arrive, and thousands of passengers are heading towards an already packed platform.
Yeah, apologies to customers. At the present moment, the Waterloo and City line is suspended due to a defective train. Could all customers please make their way up from the platform area?
Years of experience tell Paul and Ola that public announcements are rarely enough. The platform is not clearing. It's getting busier.
Everything running smoothly has now gone the opposite route. See, just like that. Okay, lovely. All right,
So I want you quickly go and close the gates. Close the gates. Shut the gates at the top of the trams.
It's better to obviously keep the customers upstairs in that area and reducing the gate line rather than them being like packed up on the platform. So it's just having your finger on the pulse straight away to be able to deal with it. Right, I've just noticed on platform 7 a train berthing.
With the passengers behind the gates for their own safety, Paul is the first to spot the service is back up and running.
A message to all customers concerning the Waterloo and City line service. This service has now resumed. Once again, the Waterloo and City line service has now resumed. Thank you.
Thanks to Paul's quick thinking, a rush hour crush has been averted.
There is proof in the pudding. Now we have a good service within 3 minutes. What was absolutely packed up here is now flowing. This is basically how we work. Start of the day, we do one of these. Back of the day, we do one of these. During the course of the day, it keeps us sort of focused. The magic duo, the A-team.
Coming up,
Can you stop coming in there, thank you? I'm sorry about this.
a strike brings the tube to its knees,
Just run the train instead of driverless.
and the travelling public are revolting.
It's the same number of people who was making us walk all the way round. Pointless.
As London's population keeps on growing, the tube has to find ever new ways of trying to stay on track. The pressure's at its most intense for the Piccadilly line, running through the heart of London's West End. The Pick is one of the busiest lines on the network. Any delays will have serious repercussions.
We're basically blocking back to Finsbury Park because the driver said there was a train ahead of him. The train was at Holloway Road.
Charlotte's job is to prevent any delay affecting the service. Usually they're caused by technical faults, but today it appears human error might be to blame.
Basically, we just had a train just sat down, didn't move at Finsbury Park on the westbound. Spoke to the driver and he said, oh, there was a train ahead of me, but there wasn't. Sometimes your mind wanders, you start thinking about going home, what he's doing, and then before you know it, a minute or 2 or 3 has passed, and it's like, oh, someone rings you and reminds you that you actually got to move that train. So in the time that he sat down there for like 2 to 3 minutes, you've literally got a train stalled in the section behind him and one at every single platform behind, all the way back to Arnos Grove. Just going to try and even it out a little bit better. Piccadilly line controller calling train 260 Bounds Green westbound. Are you receiving, over?
Charlotte now has to call every driver on the line to try and even out the service.
When you get to Wood Green on the westbound, can you give yourself 2 minutes in the platform and then depart under clear signals, please, over? But can you give me 1 additional minute there at Earls Court before departing, over? If you just hold on to like the next one that comes in for a minute or 2 and we try and filter them out a little bit. 341 Piccadilly line controller, can you put your train up as a right slip to reverse this trip? Reverse at right slip for me, over.
In just a few minutes, Charlotte's quick thinking and fast talking has brought the Piccadilly line back on time.
Thank you very much, driver. Controller out.
For Keith, timetabling problems are just part of his day's work.
You know where the people are, you know you've got to get the trains there, you know you've got to get the people out of there. And by some miracle, we manage to do it every day.
Is it a miracle?
Well, if you think this train's 3 years younger than I am, the closest thing I've got to a computer is the automatic announcer system and the Connect radio. Everything is sort of solid state. On the Piccadilly line, we've got more of a make-do-and-mend approach. I remember a while back we had a problem with the platform describers, and it was a case of you had tube lines scouring eBay for the bits needed to keep them going.
Yeah, this Piccadilly line controller receiving you. State your message, over.
Despite much of the technology being at least 40 years old, nothing gets past Charlotte. A passenger is delaying other travellers getting to the UK's busiest airport.
Hello, we've got an issue down at Terminal 5 at the moment. They've got a drunk passenger that won't get off the train. Yeah, 235 Piccadilly line controller driver. You'll be reversing there at Terminals 1, 2, 3 until we can resolve the issue down at Terminal 5, over. Well, obviously, he shut us down, so he's got to be accountable for his actions. Police will arrest him, take him off the train for a night in their cell to sober up, I would hope.
With driver problems and drunken passengers, it's a normal day on the Pick. But Charlotte has another problem keeping the line running. She's got 16 trains out of action.
Piccadilly line is running on a 1973 stock train. That's how old it is. They're getting to the end of their life now. Sometimes, you know, we have to steal bits of some old trains to put them on them to keep them going. So what we have in the room here, just down in front of us, we have like train doctors, and they will get their guys who are out on the ground. So we have at Acton Town and we have at Arnos Grove. They'll jump on the trains and they'll actually see whether they're fit for service.
These trains are ancient now, you know, and we're doing our best to keep this stock going.
Gary Corrigan is one of the Underground's secret weapons, deployed to keep the rush hour flowing.
Get called out to faulty wipers, traction motors not working, drafty cab doors.
It's the job of the mobile train technicians to fix the trains while they're still moving. But delays can be caused by even the most minor of problems.
Hello, mate. I've had a report of an offensive poster down in Car 5.
A driver's reported someone's displaying unauthorised literature in the carriages.
Something about tourist beware? Yeah, but it's covered up, mate. Yeah, it's OK.
Usually a train like this would have to be taken into the depot for the poster to be removed. But today, the Piccadilly line needs every train it's got.
It's huge pressure on the network because of the number of passengers now. I mean, they're increasing what seems day by day. And everyone's under pressure to keep the trains running, but it's not getting any easier.
With ageing stock and ever-increasing passenger numbers, the Tube risks being at breaking point every day. But there's one scenario that strikes fear into every underground worker and commuter alike.
This is London News at 6. A two-day strike on the Docklands Light Railway has begun after members of the RMT union walked out over the use of...
A strike on any part of London's public transport network will have a serious knock-on effect on the Tube. The Docklands Light Railway operates mainly in the east of the capital, and the thousands of DLR passengers now have no option but to go underground.
Right, where do you guys want me today?
On top of escalator 10 and 11.
Right, let's go.
As new boy, Naeem's drawn the short straw. He's been dispatched to redirect angry passengers.
It's driverless trains. Why are we running?
There's a dispute in the working conditions and things like that. But
just run the trains, they're driverless.
I know. I mean, they're run by a different company, so I don't know.
West Ferry.
West Ferry? Yeah, I can show you a route.
Can you just tell me?
Right, you need to go to Canary Wharf and then take a bus from there.
How do I get to Canary Wharf?
Right, so just go down here, platform 3, and you need to go to London Bridge, change Jubilee Lane.
Maybe about like putting that news up.
It's a separate company. First of all, it's a separate company. It's not underground, that striking. Second of all, there's been posters around everywhere and it's in the news too. She's not happy because apparently she didn't get the news about the strike. There's been posters up for about a week and also it's been in the newspapers. So other than physically, you know, walking up to the 360,000 passengers that we have every day at Bank Station and telling them personally that there's going to be a strike, there's not much more we can do. You know this line here? Yeah. It's not running. This one. How about afternoon, no running? Working. No, it's not running today or tomorrow. They're on strike.
And it's not just the city workers who can't get around. A major international conference is taking place at London's ExCeL. Delegates have travelled around the world to attend, but travelling the last 5 miles across London is proving difficult.
You're going to the ExCeL. Just go here, take a right. Yeah, you're on platform 3. Yeah, to London Bridge. ExCeL.
ExCeL, yeah.
Yeah, they're going the same way. Just follow them.
Follow him.
Yeah, just follow him. He's going the same way, yeah? It's been slightly tricky because it's an exhibition, especially because a lot of people have been coming from outside the country. You okay there?
How do I go to ExCeL? ExCeL London.
These guys are going. Everyone's asking me the same directions, even though they're still here. So I don't understand. They all heard me talking to the other guy. I can't say it to 20 people individually. I'm just one person.
Please don't queue at the doors. Move right down, please. Move right down.
Just one stop down the line is London Bridge Station. And this is where Naeem has sent all the passengers disrupted by the DLR strike. An already crowded station is about to get even busier.
Hello, Supervisor. I am so sexy on the phone, you're right, this is my sexy voice.
Preventing London Bridge Station overcrowding during a rush hour strike needs a cool head. Station supervisor Peter Taylor must spread out the number of people coming into the station. His plan is to make passengers walk the long way around, in the rain.
We've got the majority of customers from the DLR coming into us to get to places like Canary Wharf. And unfortunately, this station, even though it's a fairly big station, ain't designed to carry that amount of people. 14, you ready to put it back in yet, over?
For many, working on the underground runs in the family. For Peter, the tube is in his blood.
My granddad, my dad, myself, my brother, my sister, my uncle. At one time or another, they've all been on the firm. So, been on 19 and a bit years. Still learning.
After putting in measures to prevent overcrowding, it's time for Peter to face his public.
Outside in the road. Well, unfortunately, so we don't get anywhere near overcrowded. Unfortunately, people are going to have to go outside the station.
Pointless.
Well, it's not pointless, is it? It's help and safety, sir. I prefer you getting wet and crushed.
It's the same number of people who was making us walk all the way round. Pointless.
Well, yeah, unfortunately. They don't care that there might be a bit of a crush down on the platform, or a lot of people downstairs. They don't care what the service is like. They just want to go through from A to B.
Exit down the steps to the left, please. Entry only for the time being.
Bloody hell, man.
If you exit down the stairs and to the left, it's entry only for the time being.
Despite Peter's best-laid plans, more and more passengers keep arriving. Now there's only one thing he can do: close the station.
Julie, hold that gate over. Can you stop coming in there, thank you? Can you stop coming in there, thank you? I'm sorry about this. Can you stop coming in there, thank you? We've got very, very busy down on the Northern Line. Until I get a shout telling me that I can let people in on this gate, I'm going to stand here and just look pretty in front of my public. Forget the station being overcrowded, the street's overcrowded.
Incredibly, just closing the gates for a few minutes is enough to relieve the pressure downstairs.
I do feel sorry for them, especially this morning, because it's absolutely teeming down out there. Excuse me, I've got to open this out. Right, if you just be patient as you're coming in, no need to run. OK, just be patient. I prefer to be keeping the people out on the street, even though they were in the rain, rather than having them inside the station and then you having that possibility of a crush and things like that. I think it went OK, to be honest. I want a cup of tea now. Have a cup of tea.
The London Underground is more than 150 years old. Throughout its history, lines, tracks and even whole stations have been added and taken away. Today, Holborn Station still contains many of these old ghost platforms and tunnels.
We've got a lovely bit of old nostalgia from the old days. It's an old Piccadilly line signage, only actually goes as far as Hounslow West, so there's no Heathrow or anything on there. There's plenty of nostalgia on the Underground, so that's all fine.
Station supervisor Tony Eason has to check every inch of these disused areas of the station for security. Back in the 21st century, Tony is grappling with a very modern issue.
Ladies and gentlemen, please allow your fellow passengers off the train first. And when boarding, please utilise all available doors and space by moving down inside those cars. Thank you.
Holborn has a problem. Too many passengers and not enough space. There are so many people trying to get out of the station, they end up crowding back towards the platforms.
8:45, I say everyone going to work now. Very, very busy. This bottleneck, literally both platforms coming in at once, the eastbound and the westbound, and literally they just congregate trying to get up to this escalator here.
I've never been here before, but yeah, this is nuts.
I mean, at this time it's pretty nightmarish.
And if you're late for work and you're trying to get past people, then obviously it's a nightmare.
But Tony thinks he might just have the solution, but it will challenge underground conventions that are decades old. For as long as anyone can remember, passengers have stood on the right of the escalators, allowing those who want to walk on the left.
What we want to try and do is to get rid of this bottleneck of people. A really simple remedy is getting people to actually stand on both sides of the escalator at once. Not walking like they are now, but actually standing.
In theory, it's a good idea, but the reality might be very different.
It's the first time anything like this has been done. Starts next week. Very sceptical, but optimistic. And we're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
Coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep to your right side of the corridor.
It all kicks off at a midweek football match.
People do not get killed in this service. It's terrible.
Please stand on both sides of the escalators.
Tony's tube experiment has a less than successful start.
We won't stand for this. London commuters are up in arms.
On Channel 5. Every day during the rush hours,
The Underground carries millions of people. Moving this many passengers means accidents and mishaps are a regular occurrence.
Getting reports via the LUCC of 4 people injured on an escalator at Angel Station.
Any accident needs to be dealt with immediately. Any delay could bring the service to a halt. To minimise disruption, the Tube has its own specialist rapid reaction team. Rupert and Mark are the network's incident response team.
We've got 4 people that have fallen down the escalator, one of the escalators at Angel Station.
The Underground has some 430 escalators, each one vital to the smooth running of the network, particularly during the rush hours. But statistically, they're the most dangerous place on a station. Many accidents are the result of crazy stunts or drinking, but lots of people find these moving staircases a huge challenge.
Straight down there.
Okay.
The accident has happened at the middle of the Angel's 60-metre escalator, the longest shaft on the Underground.
So, you fell backwards?
I'm trying to get my wife.
Okay.
She fell down.
Escalators are pretty vicious things when you fall on them.
Until the patients are treated, the escalator will have to stay switched off. And soon, it'll be the rush hour again.
I'm going to take a quick look if that's okay. Yeah, just check you over. Would that be okay? Yeah?
She can't speak English.
Okay, I'm just going to check. Is this your wife, is it? I'm going to give her a quick check over, make sure she's okay. Look up. Okay. And look down. Look left and right.
Left and right, that's all.
Not too, just a little painful, yeah? Painful. And there as well, yeah? Pretty cosmopolitan place, London, so there are lots and lots of people with lots and lots of languages. So you have to just try and do the best you can. Use sign language, point to parts of your own body to try and make them understand what you're trying to ask them. Can you move it backwards and forwards? Okay? Yeah? About side to side? Backwards and that. Yeah. Yeah, little swelling. Yeah. Okay.
Mark is satisfied the elderly couple are not too badly injured and the escalator can be switched back on.
Guys, sorry, if that's all right, I need to nip off. I've got another job somewhere else. All right, yeah, thank you.
But another emergency on the other side of London means the team have to dash off urgently.
Flight flats there, yeah? You just departed Acton Town. Is that on the west, over? No problem. I'll see where the Acton train technician is and we'll see if we can get him to meet your train, over?
A driver claims his wheels aren't round. A typical day for Charlotte and the Piccadilly line.
That's just a driver. They're literally calling up saying that they believe that they've got flat wheels on their train, so they want a train technician to come out and check their train out.
At Acton Town, Gary, the mobile engineer, has taken the call to investigate the problem. More than half of the Piccadilly line is above ground, and it's this exposure to the elements that causes big problems.
You tend to get more accounts of it in the autumn because of leaves. When the trains break, they slide on the leaves and the wheels lock. It's where you get the wheels slide on the rail in one spot, you get a flat on the wheel.
Why is that a problem?
Well, noise for one thing, uncomfortable ride for passengers, plus it can be dangerous.
Every day, the distance travelled by trains on the network is equivalent to 6 times around the world. The wheels take a real hammering.
Yeah, I can hear those. Left-hand bends, they've gone slightly, haven't they?
Yeah.
Straight track? Yeah, straight track.
On the right, I think.
This is probably we have lots of.
What, flats? Yeah. Lately, yeah. A couple of weeks ago, when we had the wet weather and that, you just touch the brake and it locks up, you know?
Yeah, they're working flat out on that wheel, eh? Yeah, I'll book it up. Nice and warm in your cab. Something works then.
Yeah.
Oh, just to confirm, flatted wheels on that car.
It's bad news. The train will have to come out of service. And it'll be a race against the clock for the engineers at the depot to get the train back out on the tracks. It's a new day at Holborn Station, and it's the morning rush hour. Today, station supervisor Tony is setting out to make underground history.
The company have asked to look at different initiatives regarding helping our customers get in and out safely at the station. One of the ones they've come up with is this trial asking people to stand on both sides of the escalators. 2 guys from special requirement teams, you're going to be the encouragers, just to give you the good news. In theory, should be nice, short, sweet, simple. So let's go and do it.
For the next hour, Tony and his team will attempt the impossible, to persuade people not to walk up the escalator, but to stand on both sides.
Go. Right, this is going to be interesting.
They stand on both sides of the escalators, they typically stand on both sides. Please stand on both sides of the escalators.
Tony's team have been deployed to get passengers to stand on both sides of the escalators. But so far, those who want to walk aren't stopping.
Just looking at this now, I mean, this is the first time this has ever been done.
Please stand on both sides. Stand on both sides, please.
Up in the control room, Sidoni is less than optimistic about Tony's chances of success.
Commuters do not like change. They are so used to their patterns that it is a very hard task.
Don't forget, it's now 8:42. People might be booking on and starting work at 8:45. They will use that 30 seconds instead of the 69 seconds it takes to travel up there. That's 29 seconds they've saved by running or walking up there. You're now denying them that 29 seconds. Time's precious now.
Please stand on both sides. This is part of a test.
So far, few people seem ready to embrace Tony's bold new initiative.
The guy at the bottom was encouraging people to stand, but they just weren't. People like to move, don't they? So I think they were doing what they wanted regardless.
I guess it would work if people got used to it, but people are so set in their ways, I'm not sure that they would.
Stand on both left and right, please. Please stand on both left and right.
This man just walked past and said, it's never going to work. And then this lady was really upset. She said, I'll be really upset if I can't walk up the escalators.
Half an hour into the trial, and Tony is beginning to lose faith.
This ain't going to work. It's not going to happen at all. People just don't want to take part. They don't want to play ball. All they're interested in is getting up the escalator, going to work.
By late afternoon, news of Tony's plan has hit the evening papers.
I'm looking for our escalator project trial that's made all the media, and I know they've had it on the web. I just want to see if they've got it in black and white as such. Here we are. We won't stand for this. In an attempt to ease congestion, this week the escalators at Holborn Station were made standing room only, and London commuters are up in arms. It's a little bit misleading, but it's promoting Holborn. Be it good, be it bad. It would take more than a couple of megaphones and an experiment in congestion easing to halt the upward march of the London commuter.
At the depot, the train with the flatted wheels has come in for repair. The teams here need to work around the clock to get the train back out into service as quickly as possible.
That's a minor flap in a wheel set. A slight depression in the wheel that can cause vibration. Any vibration can lead on to other faults, and that will only just deteriorate even more. So the wheel will have to be seen to ASAP.
If the damage is minor, the train can drive onto a wheel lathe and the wheels are cut to make them round again. But more serious damage calls for more serious repairs. This is casualty for tube trains. At more than 40 years old, these trains may be ancient, but with age comes simplicity.
Probably about 20 bolts, and you can have the motors out, wheels off. It's not much, it's all very heavy and you need a crane.
Coming up.
That's enough.
But there are so many damaged trains on the Piccadilly. This workshop is working every day around the clock to keep the trains in service.
If you've only got to carry a couple of wheels, yeah, quite easily be turned around in an evening. But That's sort of best case scenario. If you could end up changing all 12 axles on a 3-car unit, and that could be here 3 days. There's a minimum of what we're meant to run, and we're struggling to meet that minimum level, really.
Yeah, Piccadilly line controller. Hello.
Back at Earl's Court, the evening's busy rush hour is underway.
You don't have any spares?
With a lack of trains, line controller Charlotte is struggling.
We've got about 16 trains currently cancelled. They're being stopped in the depot, so we can't provide all the train service that we would normally provide. Let's see if we can keep them moving a bit quicker.
But trains in the depot aren't Charlotte's only problem. As the evening approaches, crowds are growing in North London. Thousands of football fans are turning up for the big match.
This evening, we've got Arsenal playing at home. So we get a large flow of customers that are travelling up to Arsenal this evening. So at the moment, if you have a look now, they're all going to be blocking back, trying to get out of the station. And this guy on the platform now is literally saying to all these people, can you please move in, move away from the yellow line? He's trying to protect them from getting hit, literally, by a train. But it will get worse in the next 15 minutes.
Arsenal's Emirates Stadium is served by 3 tube stations. But most of the fans are expected to arrive at Highbury and Islington, bang in the middle of the evening rush hour.
I don't follow football that often, but have to with the job. Bit of a Liverpool fan, so focus on rugby mainly.
Tino Santiago is a member of the Special Requirements team. The SRT, as they're known, are called in to deal with big events and exceptional rush hours.
I used to work in Disney World, so it entailed about just being very magical and happy. Just have a Disney smile, everything, and yeah, it's definitely different. Definitely different from here.
18 million passengers used Highbury and Islington Station last year. With the combination of the rush hour and visiting football fans, staff here are experts in crowd control.
The big risks are that there's you get a crush downstairs where people can't get. More people are coming up, and the people who want to go down onto the trains can't get through. We've just given the SRT, who are the Special Requirements team, we've assigned them duties on the platforms so that they can monitor the levels of people coming off the platforms and inform us if it starts to get very busy downstairs.
We're doing like some sort of one-way system. Please keep to the right side. Right, guys, keep to the right-hand side. Please keep to the right side of the corridor, thank you. It surprises me that customers don't know from their left to right. Tend to shout like a teacher sometimes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep to your right side of the corridor. Munich.
This is Tino's first time at Highbury, and already the crowds are beginning to grow. And there's still 2 hours until kick-off. Coming up. At Holborn, Tony has one last attempt to change passenger behaviour.
Please join the revolution, ladies and gentlemen. Pass this information on to your friends.
It's that pathetic in London. You can't get a few thousand people through a train station.
And at Highbury and Islington, things get seriously overcrowded.
Just open the fucking gate.
Ladies and gentlemen, stop. Don't stop in the middle of the corridor, thank you.
At Highbury and Islington Station, visiting football fans are arriving just as the evening rush hour is coming to its peak.
Escalator stopped, over.
Suddenly, there's a problem.
One of the escalators has stopped. Possibly because someone's pressed the button.
With just one exit at Highbury and Islington, a build-up of passengers can quickly become dangerous.
This really isn't safe. It's really awful. I don't know how it can be allowed. If we were animals, there'd be a law against it.
Anyone needed to go to platform 3, go right through platform 4.
Just open the fucking gate.
While fans and commuters queue to get out, more trains are stopping, making a bad situation even worse.
You know about these games coming up. I bet the German touristy companies, Matt, must just find it hysterical.
It's that pathetic in London. You can't get a few thousand people through a train station. It's true, isn't it, though? You can't deny it. You work for
I'm
the
not
company.
denying it at all.
No. But it's just disgusting.
While some fans are getting out of the station, at the back of the ticket hall, hundreds of commuters going down to the platforms are blocking those still trying to exit.
Just football in rush hour, sir.
The platform is not safe. We need to non-stop train. It's becoming an issue now. Over.
India 32 to base, you're receiving. Past few trains on platform 3 have been stopping. It's really overcrowded on platform 3 and then the mid-concourse over.
Closing any platform on the underground to relieve the pressure is a last resort.
It's just not safe for any more customers to stop at the station.
Upstairs in the control room, the order to close the platform is finally given.
Had non-stop trains going northbound, so to relieve the amount of people on the platforms.
Is this normal on a kind of peak and football night?
It's unusual.
Trains are not stopping
With the trains non-stopping, the crowds begin to filter away.
How anybody didn't get killed earlier, I do not know.
If someone freaks out, there was how many thousand people? That was frightening. A child was there. How people do not get killed in this service, it's terrible. It's outdated, overpriced, it's disgusting. It's inhumane. You saw the people, you videoed people coming out of this station, absolutely shocking. Frightening, absolutely scary. I won't be coming back to this station. We're going back to Holloway Road next time. Someone's going to get killed down here.
For Tino, his first shift at Highbury in Islington is over.
Please stand aside and allow passengers off the train first. When boarding the train, please mind the gap.
And the station can now return to normal. As passenger numbers grow, the Underground has to find new ways of getting more people safely through the system. At Holborn Station, it's time for the final week of the escalator experiment. Tony and his team have been trying to encourage tube passengers to change habits of a lifetime and stop people walking up the escalators.
How are we feeling about today? We're a bit nervous. We're going to start the trial with all 3 escalators today. People like walking, so they're not going to have that option.
Despite earlier setbacks, Station Supervisor Tony is determined to show the plan could work.
It's 8:30. Let's start this trial.
In the middle of the morning peak, Tony and his team decide it's time to get political.
Please stand on both sides of all 3 up escalators. Please join the revolution, ladies and gentlemen. Pass this information on to your friends. We do thank you for your cooperation.
Please stand on both sides of the escalators. Stand on the escalators.
This could be the future. This could be the revolution, ladies and gentlemen. Stand on both sides of the escalators going up out the station, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, join the revolution. Please stand on both sides.
Finally, after 3 weeks, the commuters of central London appear to have got the message and dutifully fall into line.
I'm just a bit shocked. It's working. Once again, please stand on both sides of all 3 up escalators.
Staff monitoring passenger numbers can see an instant improvement.
We aim to stop people being stuck at the bottom, and for something so simple and effective, it works. Could this be the revolution that we're looking for? Supervisor to all staff, it's 9:30. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you very much. The trial is now finished. If you can all resume to your normal duties, thank you. Happy days, happy days.
Tony's success at Holborn is a small breakthrough. Brand new trains are due on the Piccadilly line in the next decade as part of a £10 billion upgrade. Until then, Tube staff will have to do their best to keep more of us moving than ever. Next time, staff get a multi-million-pound makeover.
I'm getting a bit nervous now.
The battle to keep London's commuters moving goes on.
It's a joke, it really is.
And the pressure is greater than ever.
But coming into this platform at 40 miles an hour, I sometimes think, is this train going to stop?
And the Tube's back next Monday at 9.
Now, there's no need to suffer X-Files withdrawal symptoms. Spike's got the complete collection. Join a fresh-faced Mulder and Scully over there next, or stay here as Gordon wakes to a living nightmare. New season Gotham, Rise of the Villains continues after the break.